Leo Varadkar looks set to lose his job as Ireland's Prime Minister because of three key factors according to Bloomberg's Dara Doyle. Mr. Doyle outlined the credit that Mr. Varadkar received for his approach towards Brexit has been diminished by the housing crisis and issues with the health service in Ireland. Alongside this, the Irish Prime Minister is seen as cold and someone who does not connect with voters. Mr. Doyle also stated Ireland has a desire for political change, having had the same party in charge for almost a decade. Mr. Doyle said, "I would say that there are three key factors here behind the likely demise of Leo Varadkar's government. Number one, sure, people give him some credit for Brexit, but it is soon forgotten and people are more focused on issues like the health service and the housing crisis. Number two, I think Leo's own persona hasn't helped him here. He is perceived as cold and out of touch with the common person, he doesn't seem to connect so well with voters." Mr. Doyle continued, "The third factor I think is a general desire for change. Leo Varadkar's party has been in power since 2011, that's 9 years. People after a decade or so feel it is time for a change. It looks like Leo Varadkar will be a casualty of them sentiment." Last week Mr. Varadkar compared the government's proposal to order British diplomats not sit next to EU ambassadors following Brexit as primary school behaviour. He was discussing reports that British ambassadors have been told not to sit alongside EU ambassadors with Andrew Marr. Mr. Varadkar labelled the proposal petty and silly during his interview on the BBC's Andrew Marr show. Mr. Marr said, "What about this proposal in the papers that British ambassadors have been told not to sit alongside EU ambassadors? Does that come across as slightly offensive or in any other sense difficult for the EU side?" Mr. Varadkar replied, "I think it just comes across as being a little bit petty. It's kind of like when you're in primary school and secondary school that you get worried about who you sit beside in class. Most international forums that I have attended, whether it is UN or other international bodies, you tend to be seated in alphabetical order or according to protocol. So I don't really know what that is about, but it seems a bit silly."